Yo, there's someone at my door.
That's right, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
Hey, put the package back.
With Ring, you can make them hit the road from anywhere.
Yeah, Rob, just start off just with general thoughts on the match.
Yeah, look, we talked in the week it was going to be a tough game, but you've got to be versatile away from home and try and find a different way, like we said, to deal with their threats. And it was probably one game too many with the squad. We know how hard it is to come east, but you could see tired, physical bodies out there. And obviously, towards the end, Jess's heels at halftime were hurting the Achilles. Sam's taking injuries. You know, we're trying to find the right solutions. I think the two most difficult and disappointing things for us is the manner of the goals. First one, you put an extra centre back in those areas to deal with the crosses and the direct play, and we've lost our marker, given a free header. The second goal, I think it's a foul in the middle of the park on Rayner, but it's a transition goal. And that's what's disappointing. Back to goal, have the ball. And they're very effective in transition with the quality of the players. And that's why they've got players like Jaden Shaw who can feed off of Esther and Midge or run beyond. Thought, obviously, we need to change second half, get Raylan out there a bit earlier than we wanted and minutes-wise. Take the extra centre back off because we didn't use it well enough with the ball. We weren't brave enough on the ball in the first half, using that extra body in the build. So you change it, go out. I thought then second half, you know, the best bell in the first half was just before they scored. And then the second half, we get back up. Not a great number of chances created, but I had a lot more of the ball, started to play through midfield, find Jesse live in those higher pockets. I think we score a perfectly good goal at 2-0. I've watched it back. I don't know how that's ruled out. And then VAR doesn't intervene. And then at 2-1, you think you're back in it. But the second goal for them, I think it's a foul. What would be the 2-1 goal for us? Great header, great set piece. Sam Hiatt just stands at ground. Those decisions, big moments, obviously change games and momentum. I'm not saying we were terrific tonight by any means, but they're big moments in the game decided with the officiating again. After that, third goal, we're trying to get more legs, more footballers on the field, get Layla out there. We've just given the ball away at centre-back. And the frustration is how many times today we've needlessly passed into their trap or played to a player running when the body shape is outside, and we haven't broken or played through their press side to side and the spaces we wanted to exploit. And then you give the ball away against this opposition, they'll hurt you in transition as they did on 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, and then Rob, can you just kind of talk about those goals a little bit more, just because you've mentioned before, you know, the team needs to play a lot more clinical, especially from the back, and you know, making plays from the back, things like that. And it just seems like a lot of these are still self-inflicted moving forward.
Yeah, I've got to agree. We looked heavy tonight, and we know, like I say, we know how difficult it is. The few teams that ever win on the East Coast, I think you saw when they came to us in the reverse of this, how we were able to take the game over. And the plan was to be resilient, throw that extra centre back on, and we've switched off on a throw in. They've ghosted in between. We've got numbers to deal with it and haven't got a body on and given a soft header away. Second goal again, possession, middle of the park. We've talked about it all season, quality on the ball, bravery to hold it up. Foul or not, you lose possession as you're starting to expand and get into your attacking shape, and where we had just started to get a foothold in the game and started to get more numbers into the attack and move it, we've lost it. And with the quality of their forward line, you get punished. Third goal, you know, same thing at this stage. We're trying to get more footballers on the field, rest legs where we can, and go for it a little bit more. And it's a very, you know, soft giveaway transitional goal. Good quality from Rose, obviously, but you give players time and space in those areas because we're going the other way. um, that level of opposition, and their squad will punish you.
Yeah, then Rob, you've also mentioned, just how you're trying to get fresh legs out there, trying to get, minutes off a lot of, heavy workloads at this point. And then you made three changes, for the starting 11 there as well. How much can you kind of just talk to us about, how I don't want to say hamstrung you are at this point, just with just a thin roster, but just the changes you made and the state of the roster at this point, especially the heavy workloads.
Yeah, I mean that's your tricky part, right? You're experienced players that you'd love to have down the spine and keep through, and the players that have been effective, like a Raylan or Pietra, have played a lot of minutes more than we would have anticipated for first and second year players at this stage of the season. And it's just the little muscle injuries, the fatigue, the regen days. Um, Obviously, we had one day off, came back in, players not able to make full sessions, and then you're already into your game plan, and then the travel, you get sort of 2 days training, and trying to find that balance where we could get energy. We wanted like we said, the extra centre back to cover the half space runs. And honestly, the defending shape was not the problem. It's the giveaways, the use of the ball, the quality of the build out of the back tonight, and then sucker punches on the goals. And so, yeah, it was a trickier squad selection this week for sure. With Sam and Hina in there, you're trying to get Liv and Jess because they're counter attackers, the counter pressers, quality to operate in the pockets. But we've got to have the quality to build and play through that. Had to go to the well all year with Raina, tried to get her out at the end to at least get some breathers in there, but it is what it is. On the whole tonight, we weren't as good as we could be. We wanted to be versatile, adaptable, find a different way, and then build into the game. And at the key moments that we started to do that, we gave away soft goals and got punished. So those are the lessons that we have to learn, and we're just hoping, obviously, the Jessies, the Sams who've taken the knocks late on, we can get them back and get them rested, to try and find the solutions for our home game against Bay and Sync celebration.
Yeah, and then Rob, just talking about this week, obviously the four SEI, obviously deflating, just the team spirits a little bit, and then just seeping into this game on a short week as well. Just seemed like a lot of the equations, for a result here was going to be very hard to come by. Can you just kind of talk about just everything happening this week, the team morale, especially the physicality of the games still happening? Seemed like the team was very exhausted out there.
Yeah, a little bit shy. There's no easy way to look at the number of results on the East Coast, right? And I think West to East is difficult too. And we handed them a similar reverse in the fixture at home. And we try to find the right solutions for that. Trying to find later breakfast windows to match. Obviously, it's a late game tonight, a bit later in the evening here, which you'd hope give us a little more time here, but you can't work hard when you've traveled across the country and put too much effort into a session, knowing that you turn around and play the next day. So that is the NWSL. We talked about it all the time. It looked like one game too many for a few of us tonight, but yeah, credit to Gotham. They've got some good quality footballers, especially in their attack, and they punished us at key moments of this game. Key moments, and that's the regret that we didn't make ourselves as difficult to beat as we could have and bed our way into the game, and we've got punished on very preventable errors.
Yeah, and then Rob, the positives, you got your young players in there, right? Layla Harbord and Valor and Laboa in there. Layla showed some good possession late in the game, and Laboa just came off fearless, right? Can you just kind of talk about those young players getting those minutes in and getting their debuts?
Yeah, needed to get them in, wanted to get them in. And like we talked the last couple of games with Layla, especially, we've had to make him force subs injuries in the first 20 minutes of games. And then that shortens your windows late on to be able to throw a vowel on for 10 minutes or give Layla half hour tonight. And you could see the fatigue in the middle of the part. Hina wasn't quite on a game tonight and sort of getting ran through. So we felt it was a good opportunity to get Layla on. You can see she wants to get on the ball. I think as she builds, it'll be braver. She'll get turned, a couple bounce passes. But some moments there that you see the quality, obviously, that Arsenal have seen in her and developed with her. So that was pleasing. Hopefully we'll continue to build and may very well necessarily need her a lot more in the next week or two. And then, yeah, for Val, important to get her on, to get the experience of it. You can see that she can cause a little bit of chaos. She's got to get used to the speed of play and where she might be able to beat one or two players and jink in and out and have a few more touches at this level. She'll learn that the pressure, especially a counter pressing team like Gotham, will be difficult. But yeah, like you say, if there's any positives tonight, we were pleased to get them on. Challenging circumstances for them, but yeah, we've got to use them. We've got to use them widely. We need every player in our group as we've shown and seen all season long, and we'll get back to Portland and regroup and get ready, obviously, for a very different look at home. And having slept in our own beds and ready to go for that Bay game, and we want to go out and make sure we do Sink proud. So lick our wounds. One game too many for the group and some heavy legs. Let's get back, get fresh, and get ready to go at it.
Yeah. And then Rob, just my last one. Most of these games down the stretch are becoming, must results, must wins, as a lot of pundits will say. But what would you like? What does the team need to, clean up? I know you mentioned a lot of different elements today. What needs to clean up before that BFC match, especially when they're playing a lot better football the past few weeks?
Yeah, like we said, facing teams in good moments or good forms, and some that have put some heavy money into their rosters to freshen up through the summer. And what we've got to do is, again, get back to our basics of what we've done well at home in the season. We've got to get the pressing right. Tonight we knew this is not a game on the East Coast to go high press and try and get after them like we would at home, and we'd have got picked off way too many times. What's disappointed, like I said, is in that shape we gave goals tonight. And take the two refereeing calls out of it at key moments, we gave them goals. So bravery in the build and the possession to work the spaces and play against teams that will press and counter press and have that pace in the front line to punish you in transition. So we've got to improve that. And then that 1v1 defending. We've got to make sure that we're tight in the box, we're marking, and the areas that earlier in the year we were good at in our defensive structures, wide area 1v1s, ground battles, those are the keys. Because once you start winning those, it turns momentum, it gives you opportunity to play and gets us into dangerous areas higher up the field. So couple sides of the ball, but a lot of that is around basics of defending and then also bravery and quality in possession on the ball.
Hey Sam, can you just start us off with your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely knew going into it that this was a big game. So obviously to lose and to concede 3 goals isn't what we wanted. So I think we just need to take a look at the game, learn what we need to from it, but at the same time not linger on it, because I do think there were some good spells and there were positives that we can take from this game. And so yeah, I think we just need to learn from it and move forward and really focus on getting 3 points next week.
Yeah, and then Sam, Gotham was employing their press pretty high up and really aggressively throughout the game. Can you just kind of talk about just the difficulties navigating their press and just them getting a lot of looks off of it as well?
Yeah, they're definitely a high pressing team, which when you're building out of it, if you can't get past that first line of pressure, then it will feel stifling. And so I think we just need to watch the film, learn what we can from it, and just know that there are probably going to be other teams as well that might press us like that. So we just need to work on what the solve is for playing through it.
All right, Fook, real quick.
Yep.
Got JP joining us. I'll make.
Oh.
Hey, and then just kind of switching to the new kind of the formation in the back. Just thoughts on the new formation, especially playing with Issa at center back as well, and then the wings.
Yeah, I think going into this game, we just really were thinking of closing down their attacking threats. Their front five is probably one of the best in the league, so just trying to shut that down. And I think we can only build on it because you never know when moving forward into the next 4 games and into playoffs if we're gonna have to use that formation. So just building on it and kind of working the kinks out.
Yeah, and then just with Julie DeFore's SEI, this team has dealt with so many injuries this year, more than any other team in the league. And then the team has to go on a short trip cross country. How deflating, what has been just the news this week with Julie, and then now just the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see a teammate injured, and it's been difficult every single time it's happened. And unfortunately, it has happened a couple of times for us this year. But at the same time, I do think we've tried to use that as motivation as well, knowing that we want them out there with us, and when they can't be, just playing for those who maybe can't be out on the field with us. So again, it's difficult, and our, thoughts are with her as well for her recovery and her rehab. But just again, I think we've just tried to use that as motivation as well. And so obviously, again, wanted a better result today for that.
Yeah, and then JP, I know you were talking about Layla Harbert and Valor and Laboa, and just just their propensity in training. And then Sam, would love to hear, your thoughts as well on their debuts. And, it's obviously an exciting moment for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, to fill you in, the other day I just said that they've already made their mark in the very little training sessions they've had with us. And so obviously really happy for both of them to debut. I thought both of them did really good with the minutes they were given, especially Layla. I felt like I was linking with Layla a ton through the midfield. And she just gave us a little bit of life when she came in. Same with Val, taking on players 1v1. And so same thing, we can only build, but it's really good having that depth.
I think it's a credit to them too, because that's not an easy game to come into for first minutes to be in that situation. So yeah, just credit to both of them for doing well coming in and really impacting the game when they got in there.
Yeah, and then just last one for me, just heading into the last stretch of the season, obviously everyone's going to be calling it must wins and must results, things like that. What does the team kind of need to clean up before the BFC match, especially when they're playing some pretty good football coming up too?
I mean, I don't think we need to do anything drastic. Like, this obviously wasn't a result that we wanted here, but at the same time, I do think we have done well throughout this season. There's so many positives that we can take and things that we do very well. And so I think we just need to get back to I don't want to say the basics, but cleaning things up and doing things well that have worked for us throughout the year, and just knowing what our strengths are, and continuing to play our style.